This 13th floor video session is powered by The Rock Shop. All set to go. Hi, welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda, and today we have Tweed with us. And sitting in the hot seat from Tweed is Nancy Howie. How you doing?
I'm doing very well today.
Thank you for
Sun's
doing
shining.
this. It is shining, which is unusual.
Can't tell from in here, but
no, well, it doesn't make for good video if we let the light shine in, but yeah, it's a change anyway.
Indeed.
Were you out in the storm last weekend?
Yes, actually we were. One of our solar panels flew away and we had to go out in the midst of it and lash it back down.
There you go. Life in New Zealand in summertime. There. Anyway, Tweed, three-piece. There's you.
There's me.
Steph, who plays mandolin.
Correct.
And Devin, who's a percussionist, correct?
That's right, and all three of us sing.
And all of you sing. And how did you kind of come together to do this thing?
Well, Steph and I are an old married couple, and Devin's our third wheel.
Ah, yeah. There's another band I just ran into with the exact same configuration.
Really?
Which is Hex. They're a kind of a hard rock, heavy metal band that just opened for Dinosaur Jr. last night.
Wow.
So there you go. It seems to be the way things are going.
They're going places, Hex.
Yep. So how would you describe what you guys do musically?
Well, I play the guitar. Mm-hmm. The three of us sort of play off each other rhythmically, and we draw from an influence of music that mostly came out between about 1969 and 1975. So we're a little bit old-fashioned in our tastes, mm-hmm. but I'd like to think that it translates nicely into contemporary music.
And how did you manage to kind of zone in on that time period for your influence?
I think it's just what we grew up with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had a fairly isolated childhood living on a sailboat with my parents. And we just listened to whatever we had, and what we happened to have was a lot of Beatles.
Oh, well, it could be worse.
So yeah, it was a fairly limited music supply, and that, I think, really defined my musical upbringing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, luckily we all have the same tastes, approximately. That
is handy to have. The album is called Highbrow Blues. I have
That's
it
right.
here, and you guys are going to perform 4 songs from it. Or
That's
4 songs, not all of them from the album. And they're all originals, are they? Are all songs you've written?
Yes.
And do
yes,
you all write? Do you personally write them, or how does it work?
What usually happens is I write the bones of the song,
mm-hmm.
and then I take them to the band, and the band provides me with a rating out of 5.
Do they hold up a card like the Olympics?
No, sometimes they're very specific, you know,
Yeah.
It can be 4.3 here. But if it reaches a certain threshold, then we'll take it on and we'll write arrangements for the instruments and arrangements for the vocals. If it doesn't, I'll usually get very angry at them, go away and rewrite the song, and
that'll show them.
Yeah, and hope that it gets to a point where it crosses the threshold.
Excellent. So the first song we're going to hear is one called Fading.
And that's right.
And how did that rate when it first was presented to the rest of the band?
I think that was actually quite a high rating from the get-go.
Right?
Yeah, so they did like that one from the start, which
that's a good sign.
It's very encouraging and great for my self-esteem.
What can you tell me about the song itself?
The song's actually about inequality in society and about how we ascribe value to other people.
Aha. Yeah, are you guys very kind of socially conscious, would you say, in what you do, or is it just part of what you do?
Yeah, I think the personal is political.
Yeah, fair enough. All righty, well, let's give a listen to Fading, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Great.
How do you vilify the meek when bravery's got its head in the ground, ass up, catch up to what's important? How do you crucify the weak when no one set a bar? What broad should weigh? I see his strength is fading, fading up. Na 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 oh, na 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 na. Hearts are churning, gently burning, souls are out to make a dime. Remind yourself of who na 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 oh, na 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 na. Hearts are churning, gently burning, souls are out to make a dime. Remind yourself of who you are and who that someone else might be.
Okay, we're back with Tweed, with Nancy of Tweed specifically. We've just heard Fading, and we're going to hear a few more songs in just a minute. Now, as I was talking to you, I realized, because obviously I have an American accent, I didn't realize that you had the similar one, so, because it just sounded natural to me. Tell me about where you're from.
Well, originally I'm from Auckland, and I've been back in Auckland for about 13 years now, but between about the ages of 6 and 14, I disappeared.
Uh-huh.
And those were the sailboat years, so I
Right.
was in predominantly Latin America,
Right?
a little bit of the Caribbean, and eventually the San Francisco Bay Area, which is where I stole the accent.
Ah, well, that's as good a place as any. I was, and so, I mean, what kind of upbringing is that when you spend so much time floating around in the ocean?
Transient.
Yeah. And are you scarred for life now, or do you look at it as a positive thing?
I think it was very positive. I have a really good understanding of ocean ecology now.
I'll bet you do.
And also, you know, I think it's probably relevant to say that some Caribbean influences do come into our music, especially in the rhythms.
Right.
My mother's actually from the Caribbean, so yeah. So when I say we had a lot of Beatles, we also had a lot of Latin American music, and I think that finds its way into the music as well.
Do you like to eat fish?
Probably not as much as people who didn't grow up on sailboats.
Right. Alrighty. And the band, the album is out, I believe now. Is
February
it?
10th.
February 10th it's coming out.
That's right.
So is there like a tour planned and all that kind
There
of stuff?
is a tour planned. We've got a few dates coming up in Auckland.
Yeah.
We're going to be going up north to Whangarei and to Lee. And we're going to be going south to Hamilton and to somewhere around Taupo. And yeah, so we're all over the place. And we've also got a range of sort of family events. We've got a date in Devonport in the park. We're doing a date in Orewa in the park. So yeah, so for those who don't like bars, we've got a few dates there as well. Everything's up on our Facebook page and our website.
Cool. Alrighty. Now we're going to talk some more, but first we're going to hear another song. This one is called Lost. This doesn't have anything to do with your sailing around, does it?
No, this is just more inequality.
All right. Anything more that you want to say about it?
No. You'll have a listen.
We can get an idea from there. All right. Very good. All right. We'll come back and talk some more. In the meantime, here's Lost.
Promised us a lion's share, but as we rose through the ranks we found the bounty that they guaranteed just wasn't there anymore. Before the thanks escaped our lips, we noticed that this promised land was all but running to the ground. The rubble but the ghost up on a door. How do we construct our lives? We're drowning in the answers, but the questions have been swallowed in time. Before the shock can register, we grasp around so violently to figure who we are. Mapping wasteland never lived before. How do we find ourselves when the elders at the top don't stop but to reload? It's a memory of penny for a 20-something's life. Anyone involved is an unfamiliar road. It must be laid by the blind and frightened left behind. They promised us that fighting fair wouldn't disadvantage anyone, but But as we rose through the ranks, we found a bleak and lonely plight. We are a generation of collective isolation, felt by all, felt by none. Where do we find ourselves when the elders at the top don't stop but to reload? It's a memory of plenty for 20-something's time. To anyone involved, there's an unfamiliar road. We must be laid by the blind and frightened, left lost. Last night, I had the saddest dream. I saw the world fall down. Everything was lost. I saw the saddest scene. I saw the world fall down. Everything was lost.
Welcome back to the 13th floor, and welcome back to Nancy of Tweed.
Thank you, Marty.
You're very welcome. Now, the next song that we're going to hear is a cover.
Yes, that's right.
Alanis Morissette,
That's
who is
right.
not from the 60s
She's
and 70s,
not.
so you've lied to me.
I've
You've told
proven
me.
myself a liar. No,
What's the deal with that?
We all have an incongruous love of Alanis Morissette's album, Jagged Little Pill.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't fit with any of our other musical tastes, but it's a good album, I think, and these two think.
Uh-huh.
And
They're shaking their heads. And
she put out an acoustic version of the album a few years later, which we found was actually quite an influence.
Uh-huh.
Because, as you know, we're all acoustic instruments, so that really appeals to us. It's a little bit quieter and a little bit more nuanced. And so we decided we may as well pick something off that album and make it our own.
I see. And how do you go about making it your own, do you think?
We don't really know.
Oh, okay. You just kind of...
we start with something, we start trying to imitate it, and it ends up as something completely different.
Right. Okay.
Often we find that the songs don't have enough harmonies because we're very heavy on harmonies, so we'll add harmonies, and by the time we're done with it, it doesn't really sound like the original anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are there other covers that you guys do when you play live?
Yeah, actually, we do have a full 2-hour cover set.
You've got plenty of time.
Yeah, so we've got lots of covers. Some of them we really, really put a lot of ourselves into, and some of them we just pick up quickly so that we can play a wedding or something. But
give me a hint as to what...
we do Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys, we do The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, Blackbird by the Beatles, and Fleetwood Mac doesn't really need too many extra harmonies, so that's fairly straight, but our instrumentation lineup is very different, so again it comes out sounding quite different from the original. Mm-hmm. But Good Vibrations, I've been told, is nothing like the original.
Yeah,
mainly because we don't have 6 voices.
Or a theremin, probably.
Exactly, or a theremin. So yeah, we did have to pare it down quite a lot, and I think, in all honesty, it was a bit of a challenge for us. Mm-hmm. We really picked it up because we'd finished learning all of the material for the album and recording, and we weren't quite ready to start on some more originals. We thought, well, let's challenge ourselves with something really difficult. So now that we've conquered that, maybe we'll look into Bohemian Rhapsody.
Go for it. I heard a band do Bohemian Rhapsody the other day.
Really?
It was kind of a folky version of it.
Did they do it well?
They did. They did it very well.
Good.
Yeah, so.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. People were kind of taken aback. They were like, this is not what they were
Well,
expecting.
that's the thing.
So.
If you can pull off something that's really hard, it can look very nice.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, let's listen to your version of Alanis Morissette's Hand in My Pocket, and we'll come back for one more.
Excellent.
Hi, back to the 13th floor here with Tweed. Nancy Howie is holding down the fort here for the rest of the band while they sit off on the sidelines laughing and pointing at
Drinking
you.
coffee. And
Yeah, having a good time. Should point out to folks that you have your debut album out called
That's right.
Highbrow Blues. It's coming out in February. What's the title referring to? Anything in particular?
It's a line from one of the songs.
Which song might that be?
It's Evacuee.
Evacuee.
And the line is, the people with their highbrow blues look down on me as a vagrant. And it's a song about a traveler, really. And it's about how the people who have normal jobs and normal concerns look down on this main character of the song.
So have you been doing quite a few live shows around the country in the recent
A few,
months?
but it's about to really pick up for us.
Yeah. So what kind of folks tend to come out to see you guys?
We have quite a range. We find that middle-aged women seem to really enjoy our music.
Right?
And young hipsters seem to really enjoy our music in certain venues, although sometimes you can't tell because they're not always
No, they're not the most
expressive.
demonstrative people.
Yes, no,
are
they'll
they?
just come up to you afterwards and very straight face, so I really enjoyed that. So
I wonder if they practice that at home.
they must do. But yeah, no, it's quite a wide range.
Huh.
Yeah, it's one thing that we actually were really surprised by because we started out playing mostly to young people
Right?
and ended up expanding outwards mainly because there are sort of two divisions of folk in Auckland, and one of them's an older, more traditionalist crowd, and the other's younger and more contemporary.
Yeah, it is interesting when you finally get them together because
Yeah.
they seem to have, there are tastes that cross through both.
Yeah,
And
so
probably has something to do with Fleetwood Mac and Alanis Morissette. and
Right.
all that. Yeah, so you've tapped it right into it. Very good. Now, the last song that we're going to hear is something that you haven't released. It's not on the album,
that's correct.
but it is one that you've written.
It is.
It's called Triton.
Yes.
Explain, please.
Well, I had finished writing all of the songs for the album, and most of them are in standard tuning, and I was just getting a bit bored and wanted to change things up. And similarly, lyrically, a lot of the songs on the album are very inward-facing, shall we say. And so I decided to completely change the tuning on the guitar and effectively relearn how to play, but also look to Greek and Roman mythology for lyrical inspiration. And through that, I went through and identified different characters from Greek and Roman mythology and then attributed them to people in my life. So I ended up with about 8 songs, and this one is Triton.
Aha. Did you attribute any Greek gods to your bandmates?
Oh, it's a secret.
Oh, I see. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, we'll listen to Triton. Thank you for coming down and
Very welcome.
Playing.
Thank you for
and
having us.
we should tell people to keep an eye out because you're going to be all over the place. The album is out very soon, and
That's right.
it's all happening. Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
Lift up your trident, scan the water with a blue or silver eye, always chiding you and nature craft a love and lullaby. Might hear, lift up your conch shell, suggest a tempest or a mighty hurricane, make it fearsome, be so esoteric, be so arcane to all. Accepting with me, I'll shed light upon us, just you and me on a nocturnal sea. Merman, you're special. Take a message for me under beating waves, aquatic satyr. Close your eyes and hide the way the ocean feels today. Spend it with me, I'll cast light upon us, just you and me on a glittering sea. Messenger of the deep, deliver this bottle for me, carry it far and deep. trite. In your eyes I see befibic undertow. Is it lurking? Is your jolliness a sacrificial show?